Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmonk to your website in seconds, letting the AI do all the work, and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Pathmonk Presents. Today we are joined by Dr. John Serri. He's the founder and chairman of EyeQue Corporation. Dr. John, welcome to the show.
Hello, Rick. Thank you for inviting me on.
Of course, happy to have you, John. And maybe we get into it. We start with the basics, right? Let's talk about EyeQue Corporation a little bit. If you give us an idea of what's the heart of what your company does, and more than happy to hear a little bit about the backstory of it, and just understand more about you and the company.
Sure, I'll be glad to do so. Uh, IQ is a medical device company, and it focuses the word I, E-Y-E, is on the eye. What the company basically does is it provides a way to make very accurate measurements of your eye vision so that you can get glasses without actually having to go into the typical clinical setting with a doctor with a big phoropter. You can do it by yourself at home, just using your smartphone, an iOS or Android. And there's a little optical attachment that attaches to the phone. You follow the app. It's a web app. You follow the instructions. There's some patterns that you see,
Mhm.
and out comes your prescription. And with that, you can get it approved by an eye doctor through our telemedicine platform, or you can use it. Sometimes people actually go and they order online glasses directly using it, which is fine actually in most of the world. But in the US, you really supposed to have a prescription. So there's some areas that need to be worked, but that's a detail. Uh, the company has been around for 10 years. And we actually have presence in about 160 countries. We sell this both in a direct-to-consumer way, and we also have a B2B model as well. So there's a number of different ways that the company creates revenue and other things. But why in the world would anybody want to do this? Well, why would you want to create a little plastic device that attaches to a smartphone? What's the point? Well, the point is that number one, there's a need. In a world most people don't have access to eye doctors. There are hundreds of millions of people that have uncorrected refractive error. It means they don't even wear glasses and they need them. They can't read. What can they do? Well, they can maybe do, bricks, pick tomatoes, do something like that. This is a big economic factor in a person's life. If they can't read, it really limits them. And there are hundreds of millions of people in that category. I'm focused in the USA. I'm based in San Francisco, California, startup California world. That's one of the reasons why we started the company here. Uh, but even in the USA, there's a large number of people who do not have access to eye care for various reasons. One is just even geography. Sometimes people have to drive 50 miles to visit a doctor. So if you can do this from home, wow, that is powerful. And if you can do it at a low cost, you've made something highly accessible. So this provides a value to people, low cost, increased access, it improves health. This technology will help millions of people around the world. It's already helped in the order of, tens of thousands of persons. Getting it out there, it's a big thing. Now, why did I form the company? Why, in my life did I go ahead and do this? Well, it turns out it started as a friendship. A friend of mine in the Bay Area, He created the largest online eyeglass company. It's an incredible success. The name of the company is Zenni Optical. It was the first real big online company, direct to consumer. The idea is that people put their prescriptions into a website. They can select glasses and get the wonderful glasses delivered right to their house. And the thing is, at a price that is maybe on the order of one-fifth to one-tenth of the price of what you would pay if you went the traditional route to an optical store or an optometrist. So this was a disruptive technology. But he wanted to be even more disruptive. And he said, John, why can't we test online? Why can't we do that? So I thought about it. I'm a technologist. I have a PhD in physics from a long time ago. I've done a lot of work in optics in my time. I've worked with some people who won the Nobel Prize in cooling atoms down to low temperatures. We had to do a lot of very detailed optical work on that. This seemed like a very doable problem to me. And we found, in fact, a patent from MIT, which is where I got my PhD,
Hmm.
that did something like this. So we got a license to the patent. We built it. I was extremely fortunate in finding some excellent engineers. How we funded the company was totally self-funded. He had incredible capital in access. So I provided more of the brains and the management and get the company moving. He provided the funding and the vision, and we went that way. We never went to traditional VCs to raise money. Even over the 10 years, we've never done that. So we got the company started, lots of ups and downs. Any startup company, there's a factor of luck. There's a factor of finding the right people. So we went through all of those things, ups and downs, patent issues, maybe. We ended up with 35 patents that we developed in the company over the years. So basically, EyeQue is a very technology-focused company. It's not a marketing machine. It has to become one if it's going to really expand its business. That's one of the obvious factors that is there. So we built the technology. We've continued to improve it. The company won many awards over the years. The Consumer Electronics Show loved us because we're providing a nice direct-to-consumer access device that improves life, that's very affordable. So this is in itself a disruptive. I prefer to use the word innovative type of technology that the world will see, and it's inevitable that this type of home testing, it's inevitable. It'll happen. Why? Because it works, because it costs less money than going to a doctor, and because there's a growing shortage of eye doctors. And on top of that, the market is growing because the number of old people is growing and they need glasses. Almost everybody over 45 years old needs some sort of vision correction. That population is growing very fast in the world. And also, there's something called the myopia epidemic. Myopia is nearsightedness. There's a big problem that's developed over about the last 15, 20 years is children are developing strong nearsightedness. Why is that? It's not genetic because that didn't happen 20, 30 years ago. It's environmental. Kids are spending less time outdoors, so they get less sunlight, and they're spending more time um, at home looking at their
The
smartphone,
screen.
focusing
Yeah.
close up the screens. Exactly. And so this has created a large group that also needs to be dealt with. So the market is growing, the technology is there. And so the company right now wants to get the technology out there. Now, we're using AI in terms of further developing the platform from a customer support perspective, from a app uh, development perspective in a number of ways. So the company is moving in a direction of implementing AI wherever we can. And so that's one of the themes that, to me, it's inevitable that there's a tremendous benefit to going to AI from a development perspective, from a operational cost perspective. Now, getting there is not trivial, as far as I can tell, but nevertheless, the benefits are huge. And again, this is the future. So IQ is very much on the leading edge of the future in a sort of home vision testing and care, and in
Mm.
terms of implementing in the medtech world AI. So that's my introduction.
Amazing, John. Thank you so much for that. Thanks you for just the overview and give us an idea of where it started, where it's going, right? Where it is and where it's going in a way. Because we're talking about the future. We're talking about I like the your use of the word inevitable, just because it comes up and it's clear to me by you doing that that no pun intended, you have a vision for it, right?
Yes.
It's really like seeing the company the way it started and growing, but also where it's going is just inspiring in that sense. And hearing about the friendship that the way it started with your friend.
Yeah. Can I say an additional word about my friend?
Of course.
He was very much a visionary. He passed away in 2021. He had a
Oh,
very serious disease, but all through that time, from 2015 to 2021, he was a huge supporter of this. And this man is the true visionary in the vision field. And he was, I'm echoing what he knew back in 2010. Okay.
mm,
This would become the dominant way that eyes will be tested in the future. And there's just many other aspects to it. So
yeah.
I just wanted to say something about him. And part of my goal is to have his legacy come true. His name was Tibor Lakse, and I would love to see IQ vision that he had actually happen.
Yeah, I mean, that even adds to it in a sense that, first of all, I'm sorry for your loss, and the motivation that you must get from this just to keep it going and see it grow must be, you know, huge. I mean, it's just the way it started and this bond that you created with this person, and now that he passed away, you're able to continue on and have the company grow
Yeah.
up. Yeah, no, it's inspiring again. So even more now. John, let's maybe switch gears for a second and talk about the the marketing side of things, or rather, you're a technology person. So here at Pathmonk, we embrace AI. Well, we have an AI tool, right? So how much of a role does your website play in pulling in, making this vision happen in a way? Because obviously, as you said, you're a D2C brand, but also you're working with businesses.
Yeah.
So can you give us an idea of, how that works and what you've seen working over time when it comes to conversion, right? Because
Yeah.
again, Pathmark is a conversion rate optimization tool. Are there any tools or even frameworks that you've seen working when it comes to people getting to your website, understanding what you do, and
Yeah.
then essentially being able to get the product and use it?
Well, the way we have to make it clear to people that they can actually test their eyes at home and do that safely and that the results are useful. Okay. That is a big barrier, the awareness barrier. Most people don't believe it when they first hear it.
Mm.
They go, no, how's that possible? I have to go to the doctor with this big machine. So there's bringing in that aspect of awareness is big. So what we tend to do is on our website, we introduce the product, and we provide a path for people to go through the website to, depending on what their need is, sort of a need-based. Do you need glasses? Do you need a new prescription? It also, there's a lot of paths because there's dependencies on age, there's dependencies on geography. So the website itself has a lot of complexity built into it in order to get the potential customer to the right place. This is in a direct to consumer world, which is where a lot of the activity is going on. We How do we reach people? Well, we have found email campaigns work very well for us. Okay.
Mhm.
The other thing we found over the years is, and we haven't done this recently, but when we came out with new products, and we've came out with about 7 different new products, what worked really well for us is to go to the early adopters market, and these are through Kickstarter campaigns, Indiegogo campaigns. We would get tremendous following. We had one campaign for this device where it just took off exponentially. So we had about 6,000 devices sold in a matter of a couple of weeks. This
Well,
created that's a lot in this business, and we
yeah.
it was put out at a low price, but it was quite a scary activity because this was a large field trial that I was doing. This was back in 2017,
Mm.
and but early adopters liked it. But the thing is, how do you go from the early adopters to becoming more mass adoption? That's the hard part with this technology because it is still new. So we have to make it better. That we have to make the technology better. So there's another thing that I want to bring up, which is in terms of the marketing, and I hope this is of use to you and your audience. You have word of mouth marketing, which is very powerful and very inexpensive. If you have a product that people talk about, you don't have to do much marketing. It sells itself. Eyeglasses fall into that category. Okay. You wear it on your head. I was a number of years ago, I was at a wedding. A wedding, they have a big table with 10, 12 people sitting around it. And there's someone wearing glasses and go, oh, I got these new wonderful glasses. And they only paid $40 for this. And so, and oh, where did you get them? Well, I got them at Zenny Optical. And so it becomes, it was, oh boy. And so the person wearing them says, how smart I am that I got this great deal and how nice I am that I'm sharing this information with you. That's great. When you get to the testing part, the viral word of mouth doesn't work. People don't, they don't carry this with them and they say, wow, I just tested my eyes with EyeQue. So it becomes a much more, um, it doesn't do the self promotion, the viral promotion that you get with a product like eyeglasses. So it's a medical device. So selling something like this, period, is a lot tougher. So it requires more marketing. And it requires a tremendous amount of patience. And in the word of being, durable, waiting for a long time, that sort of patience as opposed to a patient, which is
Right.
one requiring medical attention, which is also in our lexicon. So what we do is we mostly email trials. We try to build up an email campaign list. We do promotions. Those seem to work quite well where we do a price reduction. We've gone traditional path of advertising on things like Google, Google Ads and Meta.
Mhm.
We've used some of those avenues. We've been very successful in the past selling on Amazon. So we've gone through the traditional D2C channels and where we're going in the future, we're making the process, we're going off sites like Amazon and other things because the experience of doing the test and the medical component, it doesn't fit well into a generic direct-to-consumer market. So we've had to build our own process. So we have a large telemedicine platform sitting in the background attached to doctors. And the other B2B part is optical stores. So we have optical stores. How do we reach out to them? We do a direct sales reach out. We have some videos that we show them, convince them, what's the value of using EyeQue in your optical store? And there's a definite value because what happens is many times the optometrist in the store may be on vacation, they may have quit, you may have a surge in traffic coming in, and people come into the store and they say, I want to buy glasses. Well, great. Where's your prescription? What? I don't have a prescription. Well, what IQ can do with the tools that we have, or even with the tools that are in the office, a person can take a test in a store. The results are sent to a doctor, and then they get a prescription, all within a matter of a few hours. Once that's done, they can go and purchase the eyeglasses. So this is a big accelerator in the retail world that will eventually become more and more dominant, and it'll find its way into pharmacies, into and more of this type of testing will find its way into in the form of kiosks or other things in Costco's big shopping venues that you have in the US, and I imagine you have similar ones in Europe and wherever else. So that's kind of the marketing approach that we've done. We've done a lot of ads. We've made very expensive videos, some that show you. So you have to show the product. So
Hmm.
you need to do some pretty sophisticated videos with real people showing the product, showing the benefit, showing how it's done, showing the need, all in trying to do that in a 30-second type of ad. So
Yeah.
that's another part. So that's kind of what we've done overall in our marketing. It's probably we're pretty traditional in the marketing area, I would say.
Yeah. No, that's great to hear because I think many people tend to overcomplicate things. They want new, flashy
Uh,
way to do it. But it's reassuring just hearing, from a company successful as yours, uh, that, you're really like sticking to the basics. Of course, you're doing, the ads, and you're doing and the creative side of things is always interesting to talk about, I think, because you said you had to get sophisticated with the videos and things like that. I would be curious to see what that means essentially. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you focus on the fundamentals, and
yeah.
and the consistency behind it. That's what brings results, right? So that's reassuring and in a way, refreshing to hear.
I think and you said a very important thing, the consistency and also the stability. So in the med tech world, it takes a long time for adoption. Yeah, one example I often give people is this stethoscope. You see a doctor has the little stethoscope in all the movies and doctors.
Hmm.
Well, the stethoscope was invented around 1820, the year 1820. It didn't really come into medical use until around 1900. Okay. It took about 80 years for
Yeah.
it to come into action. And I think that the point is, and I say this more to people who are on the investment side, is that the medtech story, it takes a while, it takes a long time. It's not one of these overnight success stories. Rarely is it that. It just takes and you use the right word, consistency. You have to be consistent, and you have to make it simple for people, as simple as possible. And people don't want to work hard. So one of the challenges that IQ has is it's a subjective test. Subjective means that you, the subject, has got to decide what how to do the test. It doesn't do it automatically. It's not like you put this up in your eye and wham, wham, bam, it's done. You have a great measurement. No, you have to move lines around, so you have to pay attention to it, follow instructions. That takes some effort. So for IQ on the product side, the simpler you can make it, the better. So putting AI into the app itself to walk a person through, if you can sense a person's having trouble, the app can speak to the person to try to calm them down or try to give them some additional advice is going to be one of the key roles in the future product development that we will be doing.
Wow. Okay. That's that's an interesting way. The way you put it is just people are lazy. It is true. It's the
They are.
human's nature to just find a shortcut, to not do something, to procrastinate in a way, right? Um, but yeah, it's interesting how you're gonna
Well,
use it essentially, right? To
yeah.
help people out and to achieve that goal and then to get that test done, right? So
So you can use that laziness factor to a benefit because you can make the comparison. Okay, I have to schedule an eye appointment. I have to drive 25 miles to get there, 25 miles to get back. And oh, by the way, gasoline in our petrol cars were getting quite expensive. Okay, so you put the fact that you can just do this at home. You don't have to leave your house. It's very safe. You can take your time. You can take as many tests as you want. So people who have time on their hands and they're willing to put the effort in will greatly benefit from this. So you have to kind of sell that point. And it saves you the act of having to get dressed, made up, and drive there, see a doctor, wait in the waiting room, maybe miss the appointment, and come back. So there's one of the points of comparison for trying to sell this technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, Dr. John, I wanna, I would like to keep this going. Unfortunately, we come towards the end of our episode here. So, first of all, I want to thank you a lot for being on the show with us today. I also want to give you the last word, John. So, if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing that they should remember about the work you guys are doing at EyeQue Corporation?
Uh, Thank you, Rick, for that opportunity. The company is an innovator. It's out there to show, to lead the way in one important aspect of healthcare, which is vision. And we stay on vision, we'll focus on vision. You can do that from home. You can do that at much less cost, and you can bring this technology out to millions of people around the world who don't have it. We are a benefit to society. That's my goal. My goal is to get more people seeing well than is possible with the traditional methods. And I want to use technology for that, including AI, for my marketing, my sales, and my engineering.
Amazing. Love to hear that, John. And of course, we're here to help. There's so many companies out there that to help with that. John, if people want to understand more and learn more about IQ, where can they go?
Sure. Absolutely. You can go to the website iq.com, which has a lot of information on it, or you can contact me directly. The best way to contact me directly is through LinkedIn. You can type in John A. Serri and you'll pop up. There's a number of Serris out there, even a few John Serris, but you'll find me with IQ. And just reach out to me. I respond to almost all the messages I get through LinkedIn. And if you're interested in working with IQ, we have many opportunities for partnering, opportunities in marketing, in sales, in engineering, in distribution. Give me a call, give me a message, and I will reach out to you.
It's great of you to be that available. It's not, it's not that common these days because we are bombarded with everything. So, John,
This is
again,
true.
thank you. Thank you so much with
All right, Rick.
for your insights. And maybe we get to do this again soon. I'm invested. I'm invested in the vision, and I'm curious to see how the company evolves and how things go. But uh, in the meantime, John, I wish you a wonderful day, and hope to see you again soon.
You too, Rick. Thank you very much.
Of course. All right.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.